Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what part of the world you are in. This is Big Girl Diary. Okay, I did this Twitter space or X space last month, and it's pre-recorded. Talk about Marilyn Manson's big win against the toxic lies against men. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. Here we go. Now, big news, big news. Big girl report, big news. Marilyn Manson, he wins. He wins the all of the accusations that was thrown against him. His ex, Evan Rachel Wood, said that he abused her. And this has been going on for about 2 years, and the investigation the first time was like, no, we don't find anything, no just cause, no, sorry. Then Esme Bianco, she's out there in LA screaming, oh, you let this abuser go free, he needs to be in jail behind bars. And she's a whole other ball of wax. So let me come back to her. But she was screaming that Marilyn Manson got away with it and he needs to be prosecuted. He needs to be another investigation. And it was wild. So then oh my goodness, then the district attorney, the district attorney of LA was like, okay, I'll look into it again, because she was making a huge mess, screaming all over the place. And here it says, this is in the Rolling Stones. It says, Esme Bianco deeply disappointed in DA decision to not prosecute Marilyn Manson because there wasn't any evidence. That's why he didn't prosecute. But here, the alleged victim of Marilyn Manson are excited that the Los Angeles District Attorney's decision not to prosecute the disgraced musician. On Friday, the Game of Thrones actress Esme Bianco, who sued and then settled for sexual assault lawsuit with the singer. Okay, before I go any further, I found it quite interesting how the Rolling Stones article called Marilyn Manson the disgraced singer. Now, them putting that, how can I say, that negative, I don't want to say still, that negative propaganda out there, because he was never charged. None of those things. And that is what Evan Rachel Wood and Esme Bianco put these allegations out there, try to sue him. Well, Esme Bianco sued him and he settled out of court. Now, when he settled out of court, it doesn't mean that what he did was true. No. The first time she filed, it was kicked out without prejudice, and then she came back again. Now, you can file a lawsuit as many times as you want, and that's exactly what she was going to do to become a nuisance, until he said, okay, look, let me give you some money, because Esme Bianco needed money, and the best way to do it is to do what? Sue someone, instead of, actually working on her career, getting another gig. But she made it so bad for herself, nobody won't touch her with Evan Rachel Wood's hands. But back to the pre-recorded. Shared that she was deeply disappointed in the surprise by the outcome of the DA. Now, It's very difficult to try to say he did this to me and had zero evidence that Evan Rachel Wood was assaulted. She claimed, oh my goodness, her claims were outrageous. And if anyone who should be sued, it is her. Now, in fact, Marilyn Manson turned around and sued Evan Rachel Wood and Ilma Gore for a defamation lawsuit, but you know, toxic femininity runs deep, deep. And the sad part is that women have this sisterhood and they back women even when they lie and destroy people's lives. Okay, let me go in a little bit about this sisterhood. Now, having a sisterhood is not a bad thing as long as it's not twisted and, shall I say, demented. Yes, I'm going in by saying demented, because what Evan Rachel Wood did was she used, or shall I say, she weaponized the justice system in such a way, and even the legislative system in such a way, to where she was able to manipulate to get what she wanted, and that was to go after Marilyn Manson, to destroy him, because she didn't get what she wanted, and that was a ring. Well, going down that rabbit hole is a bit much, because she had 2 opportunities to marry him, and that's what this is all about, is was getting him to marry her. She had 2 opportunities, but whatever she did, and it was quite, just go back through their history and the wild stuff she was doing, like he was supposed to put up with her brand of torture and her brand of toxicity. I call it nuclear toxic waste, which she was giving him. But it goes on. Let me go back to the recording. A feminist, how comes you're not correcting your group members? You're not doing that. And it's sad how they're allowed to run wild. And we women have to get our crazy sisters under control, because they are ruining a whole lot of things. But it doesn't stop there. Well, yeah, I should have gone into that. As far as getting our crazy sisters together, because the sisterhood, as I started to speak about, and as it being toxic and demented, we do not call our sisters to task when they destroy men. Now, the men who they are destroying are our fathers, our sons, our cousins, our friends. And we allow them to do that because they are women. Oh, well, men could take it. Well, why should a man take someone else's abuse? Why? It serves no purpose at all. It destroys it. The toxicity of this feminist movement, and that's exactly what it is, has gone awry, and now it's rotten to its core. It no longer serves the purpose by enhancing women, giving women opportunities. What it's doing is giving power to women to exert that power over men. And by using these agencies that are supposed to benefit all people, but it benefits women to exert their toxic hurt feelings and whatever it may be, and to throw it down on a man. And that's what occurred in Marilyn Manson's case. And let's get back to the, and plus, feminist movement, the feminists, the sisters say nothing at all, denouncing what Evan Rachel Wood did, denouncing Esme Bianco and what she has done. They let them run unfettered. They need to be canceled on so many different levels, but Evan Rachel Wood is out there, in Broadway, and she's singing. Nothing happened to her. Her career is doing fine. However, Marilyn Manson is pulling himself up from the rubbles, just like Johnny Depp. They have both been decimated by, and plus, Evan Rachel Wood and Amber Heard are friends. Now, Amber Heard has been discredited and disgraced, which needed to happen. She needed to be held accountable. Now, Evan Rachel Wood sort of not has been held accountable. However, but things will change at some point. But back to the recording. It says, within our toxic culture of victim blaming, a lack of understanding of coercive control, the complex nature of sexual assault within intimate partnership, and the statutes of limitations that are not supportive of realities of healing, persecutions, face of oftentimes insurmountable hurdles, Bianca wrote. Now, before we even go down there, I would like to ask this question to Esme Bianco. Let me ask you, Esme. You may never hear this at all, but women who fit her description. She said that she was with Marilyn Manson as she was married to another man in England while she was over here working and going on having a relationship with Marilyn Manson. Openly, pictures, everybody saw it. I know her husband saw it. But one question. It took you 7 years to realize that you were physically abused. Now, what are you into? I mean, that is what I would like to know. What are you into to where you being physically abused and you didn't know that, and it took you 7 years to realize that you were physically abused? I would love to get an understanding on that one. But back to the recording. Victim blaming. No. To have a victim, you have to have a victimizer. And the victimizer was not the victimizer at all. Marilyn Manson was the victim. In fact, let's talk a little bit about Esme Bianco, because she does not want to even talk about how she met Marilyn Manson. She tries to escape, gleam over that, and how she became friends with Evan Rachel Wood through her friend, Ashley Walters, which she turned. This was a calculated, in my opinion, a calculated assault against Marilyn Manson. So Esme Bianco said that Marilyn Manson sex trafficked her. Now, this is how she said it. She was working in Thailand doing, had modeling jobs over there. And Marilyn Manson had an art show over in England, in which he's also an artist too. You got to check out his work. I mean, he is the true shock rocker, and it does appear in his art. So she meets up with him. I don't quite remember how. I think it was Ashley Walters, I believe, because she was. I don't know if she was his photographer or his personal assistant. I'm not quite sure. But however, Esme Bianco comes into the picture, and when she meets him, and I forgot to mention that she was married at the time, and she had relations with him, but she's married. Now, he's doing a music video. I don't quite remember which one she appeared in. Now, she is a courtesan, all the other adjectives that go along with that line of work, as she does as far as acting and her modeling. So he needed somebody like that in his music video. And then he brings her over. He paid for her ticket. I think he paid for her ticket. And she comes over. And instead of going to a hotel, she moves in with him. I think it was like a week or two. Then she moves in with him and then has a relationship while her husband is back in England. Yeah. And that's fine. And they were out and having a open relationship to where there was nothing but cameras and video cameras, and she splattered all over the page, all over the news, magazines, and it goes all over the world. So her husband he had to see it because they're no longer married. But she said that he sex trafficked her by having her come over to do a job. Well, if you're sex trafficked, right? And you're on a Game of Thrones and you're doing all this other stuff, doesn't that go against being sex trafficked? I believe it does. This is wild. But Marilyn Manson, back to him. So here, Marilyn Manson won't face charges of sexual assault. Oh, this came out 15. Okay, not that one, the other one. Well, this is the same article, but he had a lot of issues, and his issues came with his ex-girlfriend Evan Rachel Wood. Now, now when Evan broke, I wouldn't say break up, but she had a break to be with Ilma Gore. So she goes in and out of relationships with Marilyn Manson to go off with somebody else and then come back and go off with somebody else and come back. And Marilyn just got tired of it. And he dated um Lindsay Lindsay Ulsik. I don't can't pronounce her last name, but he married her. And then when he married her, that's when all hell broke loose. That's when all the charges and all the issues and problems came into play because he got tired of what she was doing and he wanted someone who truly loved him. And Evan loved the lifestyle. She loved the money. She loved the doors that Marilyn Manson opened for her. But as far as loving him, that didn't pan out. But he loved her. So then all this sexual assault that happened like what 10, 12 years ago, and then Esme Bianco says, well, I didn't know that I was abused. I'm like, how do you don't getting knocked in the face? You don't know that you were abused? I mean, what kind of stuff are you into? I mean, that's a question for the woman down a hallway from me. If you get knocked in the face and you're saying that he did all this stuff and starved you, but you didn't know that you were abused, wow, okay. I want to know what abuse that would actually get your attention, not 7 to 10 years later. Just a thought. I don't know. But all of those charges were dropped, unfounded, and just the fact that these false allegations turn into investigations can actually be allowed. There needs to be some accountability when lies are told. And women can tell lies and get away with it, destroy people's lives and get away with it. I mean, Marilyn Manson has lost a lot. You know, his business has been suffered severely. His record label dropped him. He just recently got a new label, and all his artwork galleries dropped him around the world. But they get away with it because believe all women, Alyssa Milano, believe all women. I don't even believe the woman down the hallway. Okay. And the fact that you're throwing that out there puts a level of entitlement and and allowing women to be toxic, not only to men, but now it's coming to women. Now women are being toxic to each other. I mean, we always had our little cat this, cat that, but now it's all okay. So the recording ended there. They don't give you enough time on Instagram, not Instagram, but X. X. So yeah, so there was a lot of things that were mentioned in the pre-recording that I did about 2 weeks ago.